All right, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in for another Hope at the End of the Tunnel podcast. Super excited to be back where we are bringing you real stories with real moms and real hope. I am one of your co hosts, Juanita Woodson, and I'm joined by my beautiful co host, Joy Westphalo. And I'm going to kick it to you, Joy, so we can introduce our guest that we have on tonight.
Yes, I am super excited to be here. So, as y'all know, I don't meet a stranger, right? So, I guess Chianta and I have been talking now for probably a few weeks, but I feel like we've been knowing each other forever. Her mom connected us and we have been talking. I probably get on her nerves a little bit, but anyways, I am going to let her introduce herself because as we always say, we can't introduce you like you can. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about you, what you do for fun every day, for work. I knew that was gonna come, but there you go.
Do for fun for work.
Yeah.
So I am Chianta Mcquitery. Um, I am from Daphne, Alabama, or Spanish Fort, Alabama, should I say. Born and raised. But I live currently in the Birmingham, Alabama area. I am a wife and a mother of two children, adult children, boy, girl. I don't know what to call them, but they're my kids. I try not to call them adults, but they are. But I still like to refer to them as my babies. So that's a little bit about me. As far as what I like to do for fun, I love to shop. I love to travel. Work is not fun for me. I don't know where Joy came with that. I'm in the banking industry like her. That's not fun, but that's what I do on a daily basis.
Yes, well, thank you for sharing. So,
Thank
can you
you.
tell us a little bit about like your motherhood journey? So you have two, man, when you think about it, what do you call your kids when they have hit adulthood? Because they are still our babies. It's just
Mhm.
making me think, because I have a 17-year-old, so he's about to be in that window.
I refer to mine as boy child and girl child. However, my daughter's 26, my son's 22. So, they don't like the child word. So I don't know what to call them, but to me, it's still my babies. Maybe I'll say my son is my man child, but I don't know. But as far as my journey has been uh, a little complicated, ups and downs. So with my daughter, I think my daughter was the hardest. I got pregnant when I was 19, getting ready to graduate from high school. Um, I think the hardest part was that I was a PK, and so
All are. All three, all of you
yeah,
were like,
PK.
but Juanita's a PK as well. And Juanita was not, were you 19? No, you were 18.
I was 17, graduating
17.
from high school, and I was pregnant with my son. So,
So you
crazy.
know how the talk and chatter goes.
Yes.
Because you're the preacher's kid, you're the worst kids. However, my attitude was always my dad was called to preach, not me. That was my attitude about it. But it was rough, trying to deal with the fact that hey, you're about to have a kid yourself when you're still trying to figure out your way. I was preparing to go off to college. Um, so it was rough. A lot of people had so many things to say, even family, saying that I was going to be a horrible mother. So it was a lot of wounds that came with that. However, my parents gave me this um, opportunity where I could go out to college and leave my daughter with them. And every time they mentioned it, I would just burst out in tears, just boohoo, crying like somebody had died. It was just the worst thing in the world to me. And I decided to stay. And in that staying, it was a lot, as a single mom. Like I said, you're still trying to figure out things yourself. Um, And in that journey, it was a lot of loss, working jobs. I would take jobs from 10 to 2. That way that would give me the opportunity to take my kid to school or daycare, wherever, and be off to pick her up. That way I didn't have to ask too many people to keep her. So, you take a job like that. I worked for Ross for years. You're not making no real money. That journey came along with Section 8, Medicaid, WIC. At one point, welfare, food stamps. I think I stayed on welfare 5 minutes.
I mean,
5 minutes, girl. They told me how much money they was gonna give me, baby. This ain't for me.
you
Okay.
Hmm.
And you gotta be all in my business too?
This ain't for me. I stayed on there 5 minutes. You know what? Don't worry about it. So I did what I had to do. Like I said, I worked at Ross. I worked at the gas station. Whatever it was that I had to do to take care of her and me, and eventually her and her brother, I did it. And that was just bottom line. I did it. So,
Juanita.
I know. I'm kind of taking it in because your story is so similar to mine. Even down to like not being on the welfare, just all of those things. And I think it was like a pride, an ego thing a little bit for me. So, yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about what in motherhood, what has waiting been like for you? I know as moms, we juggle a lot. We're moms, we're wives, we work, right? We wear all of these different hats. And you're an author too, right? You are
yeah.
an author, right? So we juggle a lot. So can you share a time when waiting unexpectedly led to a blessing or deeper lesson that kind of shaped your journey?
I was thinking I'll say like this, with waiting. Even with my kids, being a single mom, you're trying to keep a roof over their head. But for me, even with Section 8, that meant for me that I still didn't settle. I wasn't going to stay anywhere with my kids just because I was on Section 8. And so I remember one time I got a 3-bedroom, 2-car garage home on 2 acres of land. And people wondered, how the heck is she living in this house with these 2 kids working at Ross? And it was because I had made up in my mind, once again, because I have 2 kids, I'm a single parent, I'm not settling, and my kids are not staying anywhere. So what I did was I applied for this house, and it was an older couple. They had never heard of Section 8. They don't even know what Section 8 was. I went there as if I was going to pay the rent that they were asking. But when I walked through the door, I had paperwork. And it was explaining to them what Section 8 was. And I basically told them it was guaranteed money. And then I had my dad come along with me, who's a pastor, so he can talk. So I make my presentation, and he sealed the deal for me. And I ended up getting that house, and we stayed there for years. But the moral of that story is, no matter where me and my kids, no matter where it was or how low funds got, I refused to settle. And I wanted them to always long, and I still teach them now, just because we're in a situation, the funds were low doesn't mean we had to stay in the projects, in the hood. That was not okay for me. It was just not okay for me. And so waiting means sitting, staying with my parents or staying at my grandma's, wherever I had to stay, until I got somebody to say yes to me, because I refused to settle.
Yeah.
With my kids. And so now I still teach them this day as adults. Just because somebody else says, because somebody tell you no, you don't settle. You don't go on sale. You stay regular price.
Oh,
I love that.
I like that too. That's good. You don't go on sale. You're not on clearance. You're not on clearance. You stay regular price.
We regular.
And that goes in the waiting season. You just
Mhm.
waiting until your turn because you're not gonna go on sale, you're not on clearance, you're just waiting.
To someone to
And
purchase you at regular price.
that's right.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's good. I'm just digesting here because
It bees that way. It bees that way.
so after all of that, in that waiting and getting the house, basically, you went in there, you already knew what it was going to be. Well, what it was like. You went in there, you spoke that thing because you believed
Mhm.
that they were gonna do it, and they
Mhm.
did.
Mhm.
How did that make you feel as a mom, knowing that you wasn't gonna settle, but it came to pass?
Um, of course, you feel good when you do whatever it is that you have set out to do for yourself and your kids as a mother. And then I was sitting down not too long ago and just thinking back, like I have flashbacks all the time. People see me with my makeup on, my hair done, my nails done, all this. They think, oh, she ain't never been through nothing. And I actually had this conversation with somebody this past weekend. I've been through a lot. I just don't look like what I've been through.
Do we?
Okay. I just don't look like that. But I was thinking not too long ago, every time in every situation, throughout that when the water was off, when the power was off, when we didn't have food. I remember one time my son tells the story all the time. We had pancakes and eggs for like a week. And my son thought this was a treat. He thought it was a treat. He
Yeah.
was excited that mom was cooking us eggs and pancakes every day, but it was because that's all we had in the refrigerator until Friday when I got paid. But in every situation, in every season, and I think back with my kids, I remember we didn't have any power, and I took a extension cord and ran it from my house to my neighbors to plug up the refrigerator so the food that we had didn't go bad. And we put an air mattress in the refrigerator, and me and my kids slept in the kitchen, and the lights was the refrigerator. But in every single situation, I sit back and I think, God, you kept me.
Yes.
Even when I felt like I wasn't being kept, you still kept me in every single season. And then I also think to myself, you heard me when I prayed. Every single time. It may not look the way I want it to look. It may not feel the way I want it to feel, but you heard me every single time. You provided every single time. So in the seasons of where you say we're waiting, I was waiting for this, I was waiting for that. But even in that wait, he was still keeping me. He still was providing me and was still hearing me.
Yes. Listen, and I think so many, and I know we're all married now, right?
Mhm,
But been single moms
mhm,
before. And I think that a lot of single mothers can maybe relate to, and I think I just had like this epiphany of what it feels like the waiting seasons in parenting, right? When you're waiting for that next job to come through, you're waiting to see, are these funds gonna hit so we can go and eat or have lights, or so you think about um what it means to have to surrender
mhm.
and really trust God in those seasons. So, in what ways has surrendering to a situation beyond your control kind of shifted your perspective in life or motherhood?
I mean, just surrendering. Um, mm. So, long story short, me and my kids was in a car accident. We were in a head-on collision. My daughter was in the front seat. My son was in the back seat in his car seat. And um, when we collided with the people, they literally knocked the tires off the front of the car that I was driving. So me and my kids, we were literally sliding across the highway on the bottom of the car because the tires are gone. And so we're sliding across, and the other cars are coming on. And somehow, I know, somehow me and my kids ended up on the other side. But none of us, each one of us got up out of that car. And so telling that story, it comes to the surrender because I was mad at God because I was going through all these different things. Plus, my sister had got killed. So I had got to the point where I didn't believe in God anymore. I just was like, you allowed all this to happen. You know, you allowed um my sister to get killed. You allowed me and my kids to struggle. You allowed this guy to pack up and leave us. And, you know, just like just angry.
Yeah.
But in that moment, when I laid up in that bed and that police came to me and said, I don't know how you live. I don't know how you survived. I don't know how you and your kids are living. When you say surrendered, that's true surrendering there. Because I'm like, you know what, God, my way is not working. My thoughts are not working. These ideas that I have in my head, none of this is working. And how I've laid out my life where I want to be this person with this whoever I had my kids with for the rest of my life. You know, everything that you plan. You know how you play that mesh game.
Yeah.
You want to do this.
Yeah.
You want to you know you play that mesh game. All that was in my head, I had to surrender and just be like, you know, it's your way, whatever it is. Whether I like it, agree with it, it's just your way because your way is just gonna be the best way. Bottom line, at the
It
end of
has
the
to be
day.
the best way.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of when I think of surrendering, because that's when I had to just really be like, okay, whatever. It's on you. And even now at 45, because I was 20 something, at 45, I wake up in the morning and I think, you know, whatever, whatever it is, it's on you. I'm surrendering to you and what you want from my life. Because truthfully, I didn't think I would be back here in Birmingham, but I am. So that's what I think of when it comes to surrendering.
So, for the women who's exhausted
Mm.
from trying to control every outcome, what words of encouragement or wisdom would you share?
My, I would say, don't forget about you. Don't forget about you. As women, as mothers, as wives, we tend to forget about ourselves. We get so caught up being what our kids need. We get so caught up being what our spouses may need. We just get caught up and we tend to forget about us. But I've come to realize you can't pour from an empty cup.
At all.
And it is so hard to lead when you're bleeding. You bleeding yourself. It's kind of hard for me to help you and I'm over here just bleeding out. You get what I'm saying? So I would say don't forget you. Take a moment each day and do something for you, whether that's reading a book, whether that's yoga, whether that's taking a walk, whether that's having coffee, whatever it is, whatever that fills your cup that makes you happy, take that moment every single day and don't forget you. That's the worst thing you could ever do is forget you. When my kids both graduated from high school, I remember sitting in my desk working and I had a whole Baptist fit. I was so excited that both of my kids had graduated. Then they didn't have babies. They like me, you know, they got out of school and now babies. So I was so happy. And I had a whole Baptist fit. And then I asked myself, what's next? Because I had spent all those years just being mom and forgetting that my name was Chiana. It wasn't just mom. It wasn't just Robbie's wife. So my thing is don't forget you. You know, daily, pour into you daily. Whatever it is that makes you happy, pour into you daily. Because, like I said, it's hard to pour from an empty cup.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to ask this question, right? Because you wrote that you are a fixer,
Mhm.
which a lot of us we wear that hat. I think that I have to learn how to put that down sometimes because I can try to fix things that was never intended for me to fix, and
Mhm.
especially as a mother. So what does that look like for you now that your children are adults? How does that personality trait work with adult children?
Oh, you still gonna be a fixer. Even with adults. I just don't fix as much. Um, you know, I've gotten to the point now where I let them kind of figure things out on their own. Because some well, you'll see as your kid, you have a son or daughter.
A son,
You
yeah.
know,
I
you'll
have a son
see,
and a
and
bonus daughter.
those boys are a little different than the girls. But you'll see that, at some point they don't want to listen.
Yeah.
And I get to the point where I'm like, if I'm if you're not listening, I'm not gonna keep talking. So I'm not gonna fix it. Um, I'm gonna let you figure that out. So I still fix. Don't get me wrong. You still gonna fix. I just don't fix as much because I had just got so tired and I felt like that was another job, fixing somebody's problems. Sometimes you pick up that phone and you hear ma, you hear the different tones. Ma, ma, ma. Okay, what do we gotta fix?
Yeah,
Um,
you can tell what you asking me for something, something's broken, we gotta fix something. So part
every
of it
time.
is like letting go of control too
Hmm.
and surrendering. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you still fix, just maybe not as much,
Yeah.
but you're still gonna fix even as adults.
How old is your son?
22.
My son is 22. That's why when you said that, I was like, well, he think he know everything. So he at that age where he'll listen, but he knows everything.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
whatever.
That's how my 22-year-old is. Yeah.
So how can I need to is you going? Because I
Oh
did
yeah.
ask this. Okay.
Good.
How how can one balance the need for action and progress with the wisdom of waiting or surrendering?
Mm. Mhm. I don't know. I would say you would just have to, for me, yeah, I mean, you have to be able to determine it too. Is this a situation where I have to take action, or is this a situation where I need to just wait and be still? For me, I just sit for a moment. If I'm uncertain, I'm going to sit on it for a moment. Um, I really am. That's just, I'm going to sit on it. I'm going to pray about it. I may even go into worship about it, but I'm going to sit on it for a minute before I do either. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Basically,
Absolutely.
you pray before you do anything. Pray, sit. Yeah.
I- I'm gonna just sit on it for a minute before. I mean, because sometimes you can act too soon,
Yes.
Ooh.
and in some situations, you may not need to act at all. You may need to just sit there. What is that? It's ain't it a blues song or something that says, "I think I made my move too soon" or something?
Oh, see,
Probably.
gotta
It's
go
something.
back.
It's something like that. I feel like I
Probably.
heard as a kid or something, but sometimes we can move too fast, or kind of like that. The saying says, "The grass is green on the other side."
Mm-hmm.
Might not even be any grass over there, but um,
I be dirt.
could be. So for me, I'm just gonna sit on it and evaluate, just kind of like I'm one of those people. Let me look at my pros and cons. And then like I said, I'm gonna pray and say, hey God, what is it that you want me to do? Can you give me a sign? Can you direct me something? Because I don't want to, it's I remember I had this conversation with my mom. It's about being in God's perfect will and a permissive will.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Um And when I told you before, Joy, I was sick in 2023 for 6 months. And the whole time I kept saying, I just want to be in God's perfect will. I didn't understand what I was going through at that moment, but I kept saying, I just want to be in God's perfect will. And even with my son, I was telling him not long ago, you know, stop jumping and moving so fast. You got to be still. And then you have to ask yourself if what I'm doing is God's perfect will for my life, or is it his permissive will, meaning he just gonna go ahead and let you do what you want to do because you just can't seem to wait. You can't seem to surrender to his will for you. So I'm just gonna go over here and let you be in whatever it is that you want to do. So for me, like I said, I'm just gonna sit for a minute before I make my decisions. And I encourage everyone to do that before you just jump.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the older you get, the more you realize that.
Hmm.
Because if I can turn back the hand of time, if I would have just waited,
Hmm.
and we live in a society where it's like that microwave, like I want things right now, it needs to happen
Hmm.
right now. So we don't really appreciate what it means to
Hmm.
wait and enjoying the waiting season
Hmm.
sometimes because waiting can be painful, waiting can be uncomfortable.
Yes.
Waiting can be inconvenient, but if you
Yes.
think about some of the amazing things that happen in the waiting season, first of all, it definitely can draw you closer to God, right?
Right.
If you want
Right.
to take it a step further, it can definitely draw you closer to Him. But let's be real, it's uncomfortable. So that's where trust comes in. So, how has trust played a role in your journey as a mother?
Hmm. Trust doesn't come easy for me. It doesn't come easy for me. I'll be honest about that. But before I go into that, when you said if you could go back and turn the hands of time, my grandma had made this comment one time when I was dating my kid's father. She said, "You feel like you can eat him up right now, baby, but one day you're gonna feel like you wished you would have ate him up." She told me that. I was like, what? But when you said that, that made me think, a lot of situations, a lot of things, the
Yeah.
choices that I've made, had I just stopped, life would have went a total different way.
Just pause and breathe.
Yeah. Oh, breathing is so important, girl. That's one of my things. Breathe.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple, but it's so important.
Yes.
But anyway, as to trust, and it goes back to what I just said. Um, Trusting it doesn't come easy for me. However, when I go back and I look over my life and I look over situations, and I think, even though, like I said, it didn't feel like it, some
Mhm.
days it didn't look like it. It's like, God, are you still here with me? Do you hear me? Do you see what I'm going through? Do you see what I'm dealing
Jesus.
with? Do you see what these people have done to me? What they've said about me? What they've said about my children? How they treated my children? Even in all of that, I had to trust and believe. And even in all of that, it still shows that he was there. He heard me. So
Yeah.
at some point I trusted him because I never stopped talking. I never stopped talking. And he heard me every single time. Like I said, didn't look like it some days. But when I go back and I look back over life and I look over situations, apparently you did trust him, Chiana, because he heard you every single time. Every single time.
And it's not our time, it's his time. And
Yes.
if we could just sit in that
Mhm.
and just realize that, you know what, he may not come when he wanted, when we want him to, but he would definitely be on time.
That part.
Oh, and
That
it
is
may
right.
look, it may take longer than 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay. On time, every time, but
Oh, that's it.
yeah.
Every time. Mm. That's one of them moments.
Yes,
Right,
you got to sit in
exactly.
that. You just have to sit in that. Absolutely.
Yes, you do. No. Mm.
Go ahead, Joy.
I'm just it's so
It hit different. I know
It
hit different.
does. It hit
It
different
hit different. It hit
because
different.
when you just like when we first started this, podcast, this podcast was supposed to be for teen moms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what we were targeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you came and you started talking about your story, you literally were talking about things, giving women hope at the end of the tunnel. Like this is what this is.
Yeah.
Literally hope at the end of the tunnel.
All the time. Like I
Yeah.
said, every single, like I say, even with my daughter, like I said, with everything that came along with it, all the talk, all the whatever. Dominique is now a scientist, and she purchased a car herself. I was at the car lot boohooing crying.
Yes.
When I say boohooing crying, boohooing crying. You know why? Because she didn't have to ask anybody to co-sign. She didn't have to have any help. She did all that herself. And I look back and say, this was the same child that everybody talked about. Everybody talked about me having. But she has accomplished so much. And Section 8 food stamps, with all that stuff, we still now here. And I know that, I tell people all the time, it gets hard. It be hard out here for single mothers. It gets hard. But you have to know, you have to keep believing, you have to keep trusting that God got you.
Mm-hmm.
He got you. I have been with my kid's father for 10 years. So you're thinking wedding bells and everything else. But when it goes another way, it goes another way. What do? You can't stop. You got to keep going. Because you got 2 kids or 1 kid. You got a kid looking up at you like, all right, now what we finna do? What we
Right.
eating? Life falling apart and they like, what we eating?
You be sad that they're gonna ask you what you eating.
What we eating?
Right.
You got to keep going, You got to keep going. You got to keep fighting and know that it's going to pay off.
Yes.
It will.
You're going to be all right and them kids going to be all right. It's okay.
Right. You will. And it's we are three different ladies that don't even know each other for real. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, we do what we know. And like we all PKs, we got that in common, and we were all a team mom, right? And we've all gone through similar situations,
Mm-hmm.
but and we don't look like what we've been through.
Mm-mm.
And we all got a little lip gloss on today, and we might have had a bad day at work, but we still don't look like what we done been through. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is what this podcast is like. It's okay to have your bad moments. Don't stay there.
That part.
Just know that if we didn't been through everything that we didn't been through, there's other people that's watching us have been through things. We may get through them a little bit faster because we just bite, or somebody, it may take Juanita longer, or it may have taken me longer, or whatever. But there's still hope. You still can do it.
Still can do it.
You still can do it no matter what, no matter how long it takes. Don't look at it and say, don't look at it and say, oh, well, I mean, why did it take me this long, but it didn't take her that long? It's not your time. It wasn't your time.
Right. In comparison, that's the worst thing you could ever do.
Comparison, right.
That's the worst thing you could ever do, because my journey, like you just said, all our journeys are different. But at the end of the day, if we finish the race, that's all that matters.
Right.
Not
They're different,
when
but they almost the same in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's right. As long as you finish the race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it ain't the race as long as you finish.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing. Because people do think that life is a race, and it's not. You just
finish strong.
Yeah. Jeremiah 29:11. What it say, Juanita? God know the plans.
All the plans. Yes. Plans to prosper and not to harm you. So when you can sit back and you can look at those moments where your daughter is buying herself a car, right? You have children that have reached adulthood, right? Because some parents, they lose their children along the way. So you have that hope at the end of the tunnel. So if you can just share with us, what does hope at the end of the tunnel mean for you? Because I know it means something different for each person.
Hope at the end of the tunnel. I don't know. I have to sit on that for a minute. Um, hmm. I think when you say hope at the end, I think you have to have hope throughout the tunnel and at the end.
You do.
You know, because you're just hoping. You're just hoping that this is going to work out. You're hoping that this, you're going to be able to do this. You keep hope the whole time.
Yes.
It's really, if you think about it, hope is one of the things that keeps you in the process.
Yes.
When you think about it, you know, you hope your kids finish school. You hope your kids grow up to be something
Yeah.
successful. You hope your kids don't turn out to be like XYZ. You're hoping through this whole process. You're
Absolutely.
hoping. I like, you know what I'm saying? It's just hope the whole process. And then when you get to the end of the tunnel and you see the fruit of your hoping and your praying and your tears, it hits different.
Yeah.
It hits different. Because even though if you think about it, your kid, you say your kid's 17, but there's been things that you guys have accomplished together
Yes.
that you were hoping happen. You were hoping we get past this, and y'all did. Big or small.
Yes. I
So,
like it. Yes, because it just makes me think when you say that, it makes me think you get to the end of this tunnel and you see that light. So it just makes you realize, like, okay, I can go through that next tunnel. I know that there's the light there.
mhm,
Yeah. So you just pick up those pieces along the journey and
you keep going. You keep going. It just kind of fuels you to keep going a little. Okay, we did this so we can go a little bit further. Keep going, keep going. I can't tell you how many times I told myself, keep going,
Mm.
keep going. And even my daughter with college, because she wants to be a doctor, you know, those all the different tests and different things, keep going, keep going. With my son, like I said, boys are different. They have to find themselves, and then they get involved with the ladies. you know, they don't want to be by themselves, especially if they homies got, they friends got girls and stuff. They want to be all that, but you just have to keep saying, keep going, and don't go on sale.
don't.
That's it. That's my biggest takeaway. I don't know about y'all, but my biggest takeaway is don't go on sale. Don't let nobody purchase you on sale, on clearance, or for a penny from Dollar General. Y'all know the
Mm.
penny aisle.
Mm, 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 mm.
This has been really good.
Yeah.
There's several more things that we could talk about. We might have to get you back on. I mean, the PK girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, we PKs, we be having some stories, honey.
Listen, stories for days. So we definitely have
What?
to make sure we can connect. How can we connect with you on social media?
On Facebook, I'm under Chianta Mcquitery. Um, and also on Instagram, Chianta Mcquitery. On TikTok, it's picnics with cheese because I do luxury picnics, so it says picnics with cheese. Yeah.
Yes, and she's a Publix ambassador as well.
Okay, you were like,
Follow her on TikTok follow her on Facebook for all the Publix
Oh,
sales and deals.
okay,
God.
and
Okay,
I
somebody.
will thank you because they are expensive. So I
Look, I
will.
be trying to help the people out. We got to save a coin or two.
I just gotta say this one thing, and then we're gonna wrap this up for real because I gotta tell the people because they may not know. I did not know. Juanita, I hope you did not know this because I want to be able to tell somebody that
Oh,
didn't know.
Lord.
Did you know at Publix the buy one get one free? You don't have to buy both of them. You can buy the one thing and get it at half off.
Yes.
Well, why I didn't know that?
Girl,
I
she
just
told me
found
that.
that out
She was so excited. I was
2
like,
weeks
yes,
ago.
joy.
Yeah, didn't know it. Nobody told me. Y'all been gatekeeping.
All right. Well, do you know that if your item at Publix doesn't ring up correct, they have a Publix promise, so they give it to you for free?
Thank you for telling me that because I did not know. So we will definitely take that away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. See, moms, this is all everything. Yes. All right. It has been good connecting with you
Yes.
and
Thank
you
y'all.
giving the single moms and even moms that are married hope at the end of the tunnel, knowing
Mm-hmm.
in that waiting season it is okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to sit there. Yep.
Thank you so
Well, I
much.
appreciate y'all for inviting me.
Yes.
It
Yes.
will not be the last time. And listeners, make sure when you come across this episode that you leave us a comment, right? Leave a comment, share what your takeaway was. Make sure that you connect with our guests on social media. Definitely for the Publix tips, tricks, and deals for sure. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And then make sure you subscribe, like, and then stay connected with us. We have some amazing things that we're working on. Until next time, y'all, take care.
Yes.